Hi everybody, we have a litter update video for you today for these mini Australian Labradoodles. Hi, I'm Claire from Isle Doodles, and these are the mini Labradoodle puppies from our Moonbeams litter. And this is their 4-week update. Oh, it's hard to believe these puppies are 4 weeks already. It seems like they've only been here in the world for a couple of weeks. So today we have a video and we're just going to go through what the puppies have been up to in the past week, what's coming up, and tell you a little bit about what each of the puppies weighs and what's going on with Mama Labradoodle Belle. So let's just start off with the basics first of all. We usually do the puppies individually, but this litter only has 2 of these mini little Labradoodle puppies, so we just keep them together. It's not like we can't have them all here at the same time, and it gives them some comfort still to be together. So little Party Girl is our firstborn in the litter, and she is an apricot party. And she's an apricot because she has a black nose. And then she has this really beautiful dark sort of caramel hue to her apricot shade there. And she is weighing in today at 1.26 kilograms. They have both passed that magical kilogram mark. And little Goldie here, who's our second-born little Labradoodle, you can see she is a much lighter color. And if you can see underneath in her coat here, she is going to lighten up and actually become the same color as Belle. So she's going to be really mostly a white colored puppy with just a little bit of the darker caramel shades on her ears and probably around her face. So a little bit more color than her Mama Belle has, but not a lot. And she's a caramel because her nose is a rose color as opposed to the black color. And those colors, she weighs 1.31 kilograms. Sorry, I startled you there. And the colors and what makes them the colors is the breed standard. So we belong to a professional organization, the Worldwide Australian Labradoodle Association. And that association governs many things. It has ethics requirement, it has testing requirements, registration requirements. It has a whole myriad of things that are required by its members. And of course you're audited regularly by the association to ensure your compliance. And this is where we register all of our litters. And so this is where the breed standard finds its basis. And in the breed standard, the colors are defined. And so in order to distinguish between this black nose and the brown nose, that's why we have different names for the colors. And actually, what that also signifies is the different alleles that the dogs have. Alleles is the name we give for the genes that give them their colors, their type of coat, all sorts of different things, their patterns. So for this dog, it has a capital B, and this dog has 2 small b's. She's one capital B and 1 small b. And that's the difference in the nose color. Yeah, that's what we got there. That's your DNA makeup, isn't it? Now you can see these puppies are much more interactive with me this week now that they can see and hear, and they started to play with each other. They're growling at each other, they're barking, and they're way more aware of their surroundings and just really coming into their own. This is a really fun age. One of the best features is they don't have any teeth yet. So you saw just a moment ago that little gold girl was chewing on my finger because her teeth are starting to come through. But they aren't there yet, which is really nice when you're playing with them. No, none of those sharp piranha teeth that come a little bit later. So they're here ready to play with you, learn things from you, but they don't hurt yet with those sharp teeth. Oh, you two can even chew on my nose and it's okay, right? So as you can see, the little gold girl is just a little bit more forward than little Party Girl is. And you just saw her give you a big yawn. Well, she's not yawning because she's tired. She's yawning because she's just a little bit stressed. She's away from mom and she's in a place where she's never been before. These puppies have not been in the studio before, except for when they were with mom and we did the video on the floor. And that's a completely different experience than being here just with me and having the bright light right in your face. And so you can see that Gold Girl just thinks that's just fine. She's mostly interested in being able to chew on the microphone or kiss me. And little Apricot Girl is just like, okay, I'm going to take my time. I'm going to check things out. And then when I've decided it's safe, then I'll interact with you. Right, baby? Oh my goodness, don't be flipping all over. We don't want you to fall out of the nest. Yeah. So the other big accomplishment for these puppies this week is they did move into the doodle den. And they did that very easily. Neither of them were the least bit fussed about that. They just moved from the maternity ward into the doodle den as if it was something they did each and every day. Now you can see here Goldie is starting to try and play with Apricot Girl, chewing on her ear. And Apricot's, she says, I'm just going to wait and think about it for a minute. I was wondering if you would like to pick me up. She does like to be held. And she does get some reassurance from getting a little hug. So we'll give her a little hug. And maybe we'll see if Goldie wants to play with the toy here. Yeah, they're not quite playing with toys yet, but they will be in the next couple of days or so. That's the good age for them to start to want to interact with toys as well as with one another. So they moved into the doodle den, no issue. And then as soon as they turned 4 weeks old, well, we have started them on solid food. So they don't have any teeth, so we can't wean them straight onto raw. We have to put them onto the goat's milk and pablum and pumpkin. And they're interested. They like the dish. They learned how to lap right away. They didn't have any trouble, either of them, figuring that out fairly quickly. But they're just not like, oh yeah, that's something fine to have down there. Yeah, we're sort of interested in it, but it's definitely not their choice yet and not a big deal to them yet. No, not quite yet. They're getting lots and lots of nourishment from Belle's Milk Bar, which is so hard for us. We keep looking at her going, you know, do you think she has enough milk? She's so small, and some of the girls look a little bit like a Holstein, and it's very clear they're nursing puppies. If you saw Belle, you'd have no idea that she had puppies. Even when she turns upside down, you'd be hard-pressed to really know that she was nursing puppies. She's very feminine, very delicate little girl. She's eating well. She's not interested in frozen raw, but she just loves the Stella and Chewy freeze-dried raw and the Robble freeze-dried raw. And the only thing she's eating that's frozen raw is chicken necks. And she would eat probably 6 of those a day if I let her. But then she might get a bit constipated. So we have her eating 2 to 4 of those a day. And she really enjoys those. There you go. Now you can see that Goldie there is really starting to interact with the toy. Apricot's interested, but she's not going to be as forward as Goldie in terms of chewing it. Now, does this mean anything about the dogs going forward? Oh, there we go. Now we got Apricot chewing on it. Not really. They're just babies. Their personalities are forming. So this is really an important and integral time in the development of your Labradoodle puppy. This is when it's critical that we expose them to things, but we do those exposures in a positive way. Now, yesterday we were doing a little bit of temperament testing with the other litter, our Firefly litter, who are just about 7 weeks old. And we were testing their startle response. So we were trying to startle them. We were not trying to give them a new experience and introduce it gradually. We were trying to show them something that was completely unexpected and see what their response was, because their allocation video was today. So that's an important part of the process. So these 2 little Labradoodle puppies were, of course, in the same room. And, you know, a startle response for a Labradoodle puppy at this age is something that's much more of a big deal than it is when you're an older puppy and have some life experience. These guys did remarkably well. They both were like, what's up? What are you doing? It was quite funny because Goldie was giving me a face like, are you nuts? what has happened to you? Little apricot girl, she was not running away or hiding or stressing, but she certainly wasn't coming forward to see what it was. And I wouldn't expect her to. Not at this age. No, that's not what I would expect. So immediately after we did the startle response, we went and we did some quiet noise integration with the puppies, and they're perfectly fine. So they'll probably be a little advanced in their desensitization to loud sounds, having gone through a little bit of extra with the other litter. And then yesterday as well, we had a really loud sound video on. We had car horns honking, and what else was going on, Reynold, that we had there for them that we were making the sounds for. Do you remember, Reynold?
Well, Taylor was the one that had it on, so...
I think it was mostly car sounds and fireworks and things like that. So there was quite a lot of racket going on and crashing and banging for the entire day. So they had a really good long day of exposure. They listened to the Super Bowl on Sunday. Their team didn't win. They were very sad about that. And they will be watching the Canada-USA women's hockey team tonight. And they will be watching them play and listening to that. So these are all really super good things because these are normal background noises that they're going to have in your house. So sometimes I just leave it on HGTV so that they just hear people talking. Sometimes I'll even put on a soap opera because in soap operas there's lots of yelling going on and mad sounding voices. My son used to call them the angries. So that's a really good thing for the puppies to be exposed to as well, because we're not always all going to be happy in our lives and in our homes. So lots of new experiences. We haven't taken them outside yet, but we will next week. And on the 27th, I believe it is our puppy family visit, where we will have the two families come to meet the puppies. And the weather on Vancouver Island's been great, so we may even do part of that visit outdoors. We'll just wait and see how everything's going. So that's pretty much where the kids are at. You can see their coats are starting to lift. Now, you can hear that there's talking going on, which is great. That means they're communicating with me. I always like it when they start to talk to me. You can see on Apricot Girl here, her coat is starting to lift here on her ears. And on Goldie, her coat's been lifting for a long time, so she's got a little bit more lift going on. And when we have our families here, we will show you when you push her coat backwards how you can see that she is the same color as Belle underneath. So we got some toys going on for the kids. That's what we're going to be focusing on this week, is introducing them to more toys. We'll start to separate them as well, have them both doing things independently. I believe both families have signed up for Head Start program, so that means we can start doing all sorts of things with both of them already. And of course, we'll be working on increasing that solid food intake. And next week is when Belle will start to be really regulated in terms of how often she can feed the puppies. The serious weaning business will go on, because when they're 6 weeks old, then she will be going home to her family. And I think she'll miss her puppies. She's a funny little girl. She's not as devoted as some moms, but at the same time, she never neglects them, and she always chooses to come and curl up and sleep with them. It's very nice to see. She genuinely seems to really enjoy them, but at the same time, she has the competing self-interest of wanting to be where we are. So ideally, in her perfect world, the puppies and us would all be together all the time. She has no fear of our dogs investigating the puppies. We have left the gate open a couple of times, of course, only supervised, for our puppies to go and meet these puppies. And Cayenne, our younger dog, she just loves to go in and interact with them. She likes to play with them, but she's a little bit too big for them quite yet. But in a couple of weeks, oh yeah, they'll be all playing with Cayenne too. Cayenne is also an apricot. So we hope you enjoyed this week's update. If you have any comments, please leave them below. And thanks so much for watching.